Now we are getting ready to do some calculating. So what I've done here is I've set up two text boxes, one called X text box, one called Y text box. Have two labels letting our user know what they're going to be working with. I have a calculate button which is going to allow us to calculate. So right now it's still name changed, so I'm going to change its name properly to calculate. And then I have where I'm going to put the answer. Notice how I'm going to put the answer in a label. It's going to still keep called answer label. However, I don't want this text here now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change two settings. And you're going to get used to changing these settings quite a bit. I'm going to change auto size from true to false so it does not automatically change size. And we're going to change its border style to fixed single. You can honestly choose either, but this is easier. And then we're just going to change its size there a little bit, go down, and delete its text. So it's an empty answer box. That's what we want. So then it's going to put the proper answer in there, and it lines up perfectly. Now what we have to do, this is where we're really going to demonstrate the true eat, digest, and poop method. So for right now, we're just going to do simple addition, just to keep the math really simple. So I'm going to double click on my calculate button. Where again am I going to declare my variables? If you said between the class and the first sub, you are correct. Everything, let's keep it classy. We're going to declare variables within the class area before the subs. We'll be creating our own subs later on, so to speak, in the second quarter, I think, sometime. Now, we're going to declare two variables at least. We'll declare three, though, to keep it simple, because we're going to declare two for the information that we're bringing in, and we're going to declare a third one for our answer, in case we ever wanted to use it again later on, that same information. So, we're going to declare dim. Let's keep our naming consistent. We're going to say dim x as. Now, remember, we have two types of numbers we can work with. We have integers, which do not include decimal places, and we have doubles, which do include decimal places. We're going to keep it simple. We'll just do integers for right now as integer. And then the only thing we're changing between the other two variables we're going to name is what it's called. So dim y as integer, and then dim z as integer. Very good. Now, remember, this dim means that it's going to only exist for the lifespan of the button click. And that's okay. If you haven't watched that video yet, then you'll know what I'm referring to shortly. So, the first thing we need to do is use our eat concept, which means to bring in the information so we can use it. So right now we have two numbers floating in this text box. Now you remember from the little string example I just did that you do not have to convert anything. Use our try parse method, which you're about to be exposed to. For numbers, it's different because right now, sitting in that text box, those numbers that we'll type in are just literal strings of text. Nothing more, nothing less. The computer does not recognize them as numbers. So, in fact, before we even do that, let me just show you this. If I'm going to put this in answer label dot text, it's going to equal x text box dot text plus y text box dot text. I'm just going to run this real quick just to show you that right now if I have 20 in here and 5 in here, it's not going to add 20 plus 5. It's going to add the literal strings of text together, so our number is not 25, but it's 205. Which I wish worked, especially if we're talking about my paycheck, but that's not the case. So what we need to do is we need to eat these in so we can use them the way we need to. So we'll delete this. Now I'm going to bring this information back up. So we're going to eat first. Eating is our try parse method. And this is probably one of the harder things you'll have to remember in this class. Is that depending on what, if you're working with integers or doubles, one or two things change rather quickly. So we're going to be working with integers. So that is the first word we're going to type is integer. And then we get some options. We're going to learn about what some of these options means later. The first one we want is try parse. Why did they throw that word try in there? Because if it doesn't work, then the program will not error out. If we did just parse, then we're so confident it worked that if it doesn't, then the program destroys itself or quits running. Within here, we have to bring it in first where it's located. So what text box is it located in? And then what variable do we want to assign it to? So we go back here. We're going to bring in for variable x from the x text box. So it's going to be x text box dot text. Do not forget dot text. And then we're assigning that to the x variable. So it's going to try to take that string and convert it to an integer that we can work with. Then we're going to do the same thing with the y. So once again, it's an integer. Try parse. Now it's going to be the y text box dot text. We're going to convert it to the y variable. If we kept this the same, let's say we kept this as x, it would not error out. It would simply reassign the x variable, so it would ignore this first line and just give x the value of the y text box. Many students oftentimes will do that. So we finished eating. Now it's our body's turn, or our program's turn, to digest the information to prepare it for output. Or in that case, it's going to be poop. Real simple. We do not have to convert our z variable because it is already an integer. And we're not bringing any information into it. In fact, z is going to be our result, our output. So, real simply, remember what it's going to be equal to first, the answers first, equals, and we'll just keep it real simple, x plus y. I do put spaces in between just to keep it clean. As our programs get harder, the digestion will be the biggest part of the program. It's not today. And then, of course, we're going to poop, or better known as output, the result of our digestion, which is going to be, where do we want to put it? We want to put it here in this text box, or excuse me, this label, this is the answer label. So answer label dot text equals z. So if we go and run it, if I put a 5 in here and a 3 in here, we get an 8. If I change that to a 2, but I don't change the 3, we get a 5. If I accidentally put in a double, 2.3 and 3, it cannot parse the number with the decimal, hence why it said try parse. It could not convert it to an integer because there's a decimal, so it default to set to 0, but it could convert to 3, so it ended up being 0 plus 3. That's a real basic example, but this is very important information to be successful throughout the rest of the class.